על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
When I think of Hanukkah, the one story that always comes to mind is the story of Hugo Grin, who became a very famous rabbi in England. When he was a child, he was in Auschwitz. And his father, who was interred with him in the camps, took the precious margarine ration and used it to light the Chanukiah, to light the menorah. And Hugo said to his father, "What are you doing? That's our food." And his father said, "My child, we have learned that you can go for 3 weeks without food, for 3 days without water, but you cannot survive for 3 minutes without hope." We are putting together this concert tonight to give hope, because mental illness puts people in darkness. And we know from our tradition that darkness can give way to light. The shamus is the candle that lights all the other candles. We call on all of us to be a shamash, to be the candle that will help illuminate others' lives and lead them out of darkness. And it is my pleasure now to call upon somebody who has given us all such joy, such insight, and is such a beautiful spirit in our community and in the world, Mayim Bialik.
Hi there, I'm Mayim Bialik, and really happy to be here to talk a little bit about the connection between Hanukkah and mental health. I guess I see many connections between Hanukkah and mental health. One is that Hanukkah is a holiday of miracles, and for anyone who has lived with mental health challenges or loved someone who has mental health challenges, there's an aspect of these kinds of struggles which can feel really impossible and sometimes like you need a miracle. And while miracles have a very important place in our religious tradition, and obviously Hanukkah is a holiday of tremendous miracles, I guess the way I see it is it doesn't take a miracle to get to know your challenges and to get support if you need support and to get help if you need help. And that's a place where my grandfather of blessed memory used to say, there's miracles all around us all the time. The sun comes up every day and amazing things happen. And the love and the strength that we have to have when dealing with mental health challenges or loving someone who has mental health challenges. That's the place where we can see even small miracles. But as I said, you don't need a miracle to reach out and get help. And this time of year, we think a lot about the miracles that our people have witnessed. And it's a beautiful time also to think of Hanukkah as the festival of light, and how we often do need special light to guide our way. But there are resources and there is help out there. So Hanukkah is a great time to remember that.
Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die.
Light one candle for the pain they endured when the right to exist was denied.
Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand.
Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand.
Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe.
Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago.
Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together, and peace as a song in our heart. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry have they not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out.
To my dear Sinai Temple family, happy Hanukkah. Chag Sameach to my rabbis, my teachers, my friends, my mentors, my cantors. Happy Hanukkah. It's winter and light is diminishing. The days are growing shorter. And as parties increase for Hanukkah, New Year's, it's easy to believe that we're surrounded by joy and light, when in truth, there is darkness in our world. Reach out. Be the light. Be the hope. Reach out to loved ones and others and say, yes, we can. We can be the light of Hanukkah. We can be the light of hope. Chag Sameach.
For the victories won a long time ago, let it in, let it in. For miracles and wonders, and the ones we don't know, let it in, let it in. For where we are going, where we have been. We must be the light for the light to come in. For the dreamers, the lonely, those in between, let it in, let it in. For what was, what isn't, what's yet to be seen, let it in, let it in. In moments of wonder, darkness or doubt, light one light each night, so we're never without. Let it go, let it be, let it in. Let it in, let it in, let it in, let it in. Let it go, let it be, let it in. For the downcast, the favored, the broken, the whole, generations to come, it is light we must sow. Let it go, let it be, let it in. Let it in, let it in, let it in, let it in. Go, let it be, let it in. For times we will flourish, times we will fall. Let it in, let it in. There's enough light for one, there's enough light for all. Let it in, let it in. For where we are going, where we have been, light one light each night, so the light can get in. Let it go, let it be, let it in. Let it go, let it be, let it in. Let it go, let it be. Let it in.
Chag Sameach. Hello, my name is Henry. I use he, him pronouns. I'm 21 years old. I'm currently a senior at the University of Pennsylvania, and I'm super excited and honored to be here to talk a little bit more about my own journey with mental wellness. I really appreciate Sinai Temple for giving me this platform, and I'm hoping that my story and my sharing encourages many of you to share, especially now we're going through really tough times, and it's important to have these open dialogues and to foster open conversation and to make sure that our mental health is in check just as much, if not more, than our physical. And so just to give a little bit more background about me, I am originally from Los Angeles. I grew up the youngest of 5 siblings in a very big family, and went through elementary school, middle school, high school, relatively problem-free. I was always the one who no one had to worry about, who, sort of did what they had to do with school and, made everyone's life easy. That was my goal. People please, make everyone's life easy, be the agreeable one. And that worked while I was in high school. But then when I got to college, it was the first time that I'd really been on my own, without having my family around, without having to necessarily play that role of being the one who's agreeable. And I think it was really challenged to sort of, figure out who I was outside of all of that. And that really took a toll on me at first. And I think it was definitely something that was compounded by social media. I really struggled with my use of social media throughout my time, especially freshman year. Obviously social media has its benefits, but for me it was really, really harmful, just sort of being exposed to people who seemingly were having the best experiences of their lives and, putting out the 1% of them that might or might not be actually happy, but whatever is deemed likable is what goes on social media. And so I found myself caught in a whirlwind of trying to, figure out my own happiness while not having my footing as a human being. So that really took a toll on me. And, that combined with just being away from home and having to take care of myself for the first time, it launched me into a very severe depression. So I was actually diagnosed with severe clinical depression in the end of October of my freshman year, so about 2 months into school. And it definitely came on pretty strong pretty quickly. I mean, I was doing all right, and then I started to realize that every morning I would have trouble getting out of bed, and it got to the point where my roommate would have to literally physically pull me out of my bed in order to make sure that I went about my day. Just getting out of my bed and taking a shower felt like I was about to run a marathon. It was just a complete weight that was literally pinning me down. And it's a very physical manifestation. And I felt a lack of motivation to be involved in my community, and it was really hard for me to respond to text messages, to reach out for help. I really felt alone in my struggles. I definitely had moments of suicidal thoughts and thinking that I was going to end it all and that my life didn't have value and that that was really the end of the road for me. But what really changed that was once I sort of got into my second semester at school. It took a lot of courage and, a lot of convincing to get me to go back. But once I got back, I was really committed to understanding where other people were coming from and what other people were feeling. Because I had a feeling that even though it's not something that's talked about very much, I know that people struggle all across the board, whether it's something as severe as a diagnosed mental health issue, or if it's something as simple as lack of sleep or academic stress. Everyone puts on this face that they're okay and that, struggle is weak, when in actuality, everyone is going through something. And I found that when I was able to start having more open conversations with my friends and with my peers, that everyone was really receptive and they wanted to hear what I had to say. Most of them, if not all, related to at least some aspect of what I was going through. And that really opened up the floodgates for me to try and sort of pivot, and not think, I'm so alone in this, I should shut it off. But really, if we start increasing conversations about this and we start, uncovering what seems to be a common truth for everyone, it's going to make waves and it's going to be huge. And so ever since then, I've really dedicated myself to mental health advocacy and mental wellness advocacy. I was on the search committee at my university to hire a new position called the Chief Wellness Officer position. And I've served on a council called the Student Wellness Advisory Group at the University of Pennsylvania. And, going over all things wellness related, all from academic stress to, our counseling and psychological services, all of that. And in my own, I've done some writing. I wrote an article that was published for the Jewish Journal about my experience with mental wellness. And, I know it seems a lofty goal, but I think I'll know that my job or my work is done when someone wakes up one day, feeling a weight, feeling the weight of the world, feeling anxiety, you name it, and feeling as comfortable emailing maybe their boss or their professor and explaining how they're feeling and what's going on with the same amount of comfort and ease that one does when they're physically sick. Like, I always found that it was so hard for me to tell my professor that I couldn't come to class because I couldn't get out of bed because I was depressed. So I would always put it on, oh, I have a cold, oh, I have a flu. But if we're talking about wellness as this whole spectrum of physical, mental, emotional wellness, those should all be equal. And I think even more so, mental wellness is something that is really universal. And so, I think obviously depression is still something that I struggle with. It's not something that goes away with the snap of my fingers. But having the opportunity to talk about it so openly and to try and make changes to help other people feel more open talking about whatever they're going through, that's made the huge difference for me. And that's really made me feel more comfortable in my own skin, has helped me to grow a lot as a person and to find my own voice and my own strength. And so I'm hoping that during Hanukkah this year, we've had a lot of reasons not to celebrate this year, and a lot of darkness, due to this global health crisis, lots of loss, both human life losses, but also just emotional losses, and, plans changing, things being altered here and there. It's been a lot to deal with. And we could really use some light right now. So, you know, I'm really of the belief that you can't find light until you go through the darkness. You know, the only way out is through. And I think whatever you're feeling right now, whether it's anxiety, sadness, overwhelmed, let yourself feel it and let yourself open up about it. Because the only way that you're going to find that light is if you get through the darkness, and you have to create your own light, and that's how you do it. And, you know, someone very wise once told me that you are robbing the world of something it desperately needs if you're not being yourself. And so hopefully in this Hanukkah spirit of, you know, creating light in a time when darkness seems to be the predominant factor, just know that as long as you're being yourself and being as open and honest with how you're feeling about the world, you'll be able to create your own light, even when the world maybe isn't giving it to you. So happy Hanukkah, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. So in addition to having the opportunity to speak openly, which I'm so grateful for, another way that I sort of navigate my emotions and try and create my own light is by singing and through the power of music. Music is just something that has been ingrained in me since I was a little boy, and I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to sing for you. I'll be performing a song called Beautiful City from the musical Godspell, and it's a beautiful story, beautiful lyrics about how important it is for us to use our common humanity as a point of, you know, collaboration and connection to help us overcome struggle. So I hope this song resonates with you just as much as it resonates with me.
Not a city of angels, but we can build a city of men. We may not reach the ending, but we can start slowly but truly, mending brick by brick and heart by heart. Now, maybe now, we'll start learning how we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Not a city of angels, but we can build a city of man. When your trust is all but shattered, when your faith is all but killed, you can give up bitter and battered, or you can slowly start to build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. beautiful city, not a city of angels, but finally a city of men. A city of men.
Thank you. Chag Sameach.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone. I just want to take this moment to thank Henry Platt for sharing his story. Thank you, Henry, for your vulnerability and your insight and your willingness to show all of us that for those that struggle with mental health, that we're all on this journey, not alone, but very much together. It's with gratitude in which I thank you. And it's also with that message that I remind all of us that within the Jewish tradition, there's a particular framework in which we should address pain, emotional, mental, physical pain, meaning that we shouldn't experience pain in a silo, pain alone. Rather, we are meant to see each other and the pain that we endure. There's a story in the Talmud about Rabbi Yochanan. It's one of my favorites. He was known as a healer. And when his students were ill, he would go to his students and he would reach out his hand and he would lift them up. And it was said that he would heal their illness. But when Rabbi Yochanan himself fell ill, the Talmud asked the question, this wise and insightful man, why couldn't he heal himself? And the answer given is that a prisoner cannot free himself. In other words, if one suffers from mental illness or struggles with mental health, be it depression or anxiety, or has suicidal thoughts, we are not meant to travel this road alone. It's quite the opposite, and our Jewish tradition supports that statement. We are meant to reach out to each other, and we are blessed in this world to have particular organizations who are there to offer us resources and help. And so it's now my honor, and also with deep gratitude and thanks, to have Mayim Bialik share some of those most important resources in which she sheds some light on the path in which all of us can hope to emerge out of the darkness.
One of the things that I have focused most on during this quarantine and all of the complexity surrounding what's happening in our country and our world is to start a podcast about mental health. I feel like there's been a lot of in our face-ness about what's going on with our own mental health. And many of us have been in close quarters with people that we don't always interact with. And it might feel like more of a challenge than we anticipated. So I guess starting this mental health podcast is one of the things I'm trying to do to spread some of the light that I've been given by others who have helped me on my journey to understanding my mental health challenges. And one of the places that I've turned to is NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Health and Mental Illness. And it's NAMI.org. You can go to their site and they have hotlines and support groups, services free of charge. And they were incredibly helpful to me when a loved one of mine was hospitalized and helped me navigate understanding what comes next and what I can do and what I should stop doing that might be actually hurting the situation and not helping it. So my website has a lot of resources also on mental health. That's bialikbreakdown.com. And I encourage you to go to NAMI.org and learn more about how they can help support you.
It's a very difficult thing to face the reality of living with a serious illness. It's a hard truth.
No matter how much, when my mom, she was exhibiting a symptom or she was, had some sort of delusion, and I would try to talk to her. It's her reality. How do you convince someone that their reality is not their reality?
I was totally lost in a fog and maze of psychosis. Fortunately for me, having the support of friends, family, my NAMI community, That allowed me to get back on the path towards recovery, to find help, to find hope.
It was empowering for me to know that, I'm not the only one experiencing this.
In NAMI, you find a community of people that get it. You find a community of people where you can openly share your stories, where you can openly face it, where you can come to terms with what that's meant in your life. And people will accept you and people will get you and they won't judge you like you might be judged in other communities or you might judge yourself.
Oftentimes our story can empower someone, even if it gives them a little nudge of relief or it's refreshing to them, then I think that it's important to be able to share.
It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of grit, it takes a lot of resilience to go against the mold and to openly identify and speak out about living in mental health.
You can't live your life in the what ifs, I can only deal with what is. This is what I'm dealing with, and this is what I need to do.
Mental illnesses can be the most difficult experiences that humans go through. They can also be the most shining examples of courageousness and bravery and hope that humans have to offer as well.
As you have just heard, NAMI teaches us that we do not have to travel our journey alone. In this next group, the Shalva Band, a group of special needs young professionals, take their unbelievably talented musical skills and through music, teach us this lesson as well. Hanukkah is a holiday where we say Nes Gadol Haya Sham. A great miracle happened there. In the land of Israel, this group, the Shalva Special Needs Band, sings A Million Dreams, allowing us to continue our dreams together so that we will never dream alone.
Hello! We are the Shalva Band from Jerusalem! Woo!
On the Eurovision 2019. Here in Shalva, our main message is inspiring hope, changing lives. I'm believing in each and every individual's potential to thrive to the best of his abilities and more.
From dreams into hope. Each night of Hanukkah, we add a candle, add light, and add hope into a dark world. In the folk song Ocho Candelicas, we count the 8 nights in Ladino, Judeo-Spanish. Hanukkah linda está aquí, ocho candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda está aquí, ocho candelas para mí. Oh, una candelica, dos candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Muchas fiestas vou fazer con alegrías y placer. Muchas fiestas vou fazer con alegrías y placer. Oh, una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Chag Urim Sameach. Happy Hanukkah.
On Hanukkah, we celebrate the fact that it is through divine strength that the Jewish people have survived. On the one hand, we see this in the militaristic victory of the Maccabees over the Greeks. But the second, and I think more profound expression of strength in the Hanukkah story is that one Jew, amidst darkness and destruction, amidst the rubble of the temple, had the audacity to light the candle, the flame of the holy temple menorah. This is the strength I pray for. It has been an extremely hard year. This is a particularly hard time. And Ma'oz Tzur, God, my rock, my foundation, my stronghold, I pray that you give us the strength too to find the courage to hope amidst the darkest of times, and to find that when we have the courage to bring light to the world, we find, as they did biyamim hahem in those days, that our light shines brighter and lasts longer than we could have imagined. Give us the strength to rise up and light that flame. Ma'oz Tzur.
Hey everybody, this is Ma'oz Tzur. Happy Hanukkah. Ma'oz Tzur Yeshuati Lecha na'el shabeach Tikon betefilati V'sham toda nezabeach Letachin matbeach Mitzor hanabeach Az egmor beshir mizmor Chanukah hamizbeach Az egmor beshir mizmor Chanukah hamizbeach Ra'ot sav'a nafshi Be'yagon kochi kala Chayai mareru bekoshi B'shibud malachut egla Uve'ado hagdola Hoti et hasegula Chel paro v'chol zaro Yardu ke'even bimtzula Chel paro v'chol zaro Yardu ke'even bimtzula Az egmor beshir mizmor Chanukah hamizbeach
I know you don't normally associate Hanukkah celebrations with a rap star, but if you listen to 24K Golden, you will see not only because of his Jewish roots, but also because of the poignancy of his message, to be seen, to look at his life, that this is what so many of our brothers and sisters who are struggling are saying to us. Look at me, see who I am, see who I can be. Help me with your light. 24K Golden.
Hey yo, Joshua, this a hit. Take a look at my lifestyle right now, a lot for me to lose. Got a lot for me to prove. Take a look at my lifestyle right now, a lot for me to lose. Ain't always in the right, like right now, a lot for me to prove. Say you love me, but you ain't Take a look at my lifestyle right now, a lot for me to lose. You say you don't know me anymore, what we fighting for? I thought you were tripping when you asked me, do you even love me anymore? Now I do not know, cause you've been acting different since last week. No time to fight now, barely got time for me. Can't afford to lose right now, I'm just chasing my dreams. Ups and downs, get me off this roller coaster. You can't see that I love you even if I told ya. Take a look at my lifestyle right now, a lot for me to lose. Ain't always in the right, like right now, a lot for me to prove. Say you love me, but you ain't me at the same time. Said I love you, but you told me that you ain't mine. Take a look at my lifestyle right now, a lot for me to lose. When it all falls apart in the dark, who you come crying to? If you are who you say who you are, you would know I'm trying to. Take a look at my lifestyle right now, a lot for me to lose. Ain't always in the right, like right now, a lot for me to prove. Take a look at my lifestyle right now, a lot for me to lose. Ain't always in the right, like right now, a lot for me to prove. Say you love me, but you ain't me at the same time. Said I love you, you told me you ain't mine. Take a look at my lifestyle right now, a lot for me to lose.
Thank you to 24K Golden for putting into words the realization of what every human being wants in their lifetime: to be seen. Over the course of the pandemic, that's exactly what we have seen at Sinai Temple. Our congregants, our community, the greater world beyond, asking to be seen beyond the screens of their home. And so at Sinai Temple, we provided various mental health resources and programs, from dealing with anxiety and depression, transitioning from disappointment to resilience. And what we've realized is we have to do more. When we think about Bikur Cholim, visiting the sick, we often think about the physical action of going to someone's home. But Bikur Cholim very much includes the idea of addressing someone's mental health needs. And so we are proud at Sinai Temple to introduce the Sinai Temple Mental Health Initiative, in which several Sinai Temple mental health professionals will congregate together, and we will thoughtfully and organically decide what kinds of resources and programs and speakers and initiatives are needed in order to address the mental health struggles at Sinai Temple, in the Jewish community, and in the greater Los Angeles area. A special thank you to the Jake Weisbart Memorial Fund for allowing us to put on this special program tonight and supporting our mental health initiatives. And thank you to all of you for journeying with us and helping the world come to the realization that we can't ignore the mental health struggle any longer. Happy Hanukkah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avoteinu bayamim ha'em ba'azman hazeh.
Mi malel gurot Yisrael otan mi himne en bechol yakum hagibor goel ha'am In the light or in the dark, we stand together, hand in hand and heart in heart. We are as one. We are as one. Chag Sameach.